And we're live, everybody. It is Tuesday, June 11th, 3:30 p.m. Central. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a minute since we've done a live stream, partly because I'm a new father. Little Clive was born about 2 weeks ago. If this live stream is a disaster, it's because of my lack of sleep, okay? So apologies in advance. Here we go. Okay, so I waited 10 seconds. Come on, man. Sorry I'm late. All right, let's get started right away. So Tesla just made a post on X about the Optimus robot. And the Optimus robot is a program that they've been working on for a few years now. This is tied to this post right here from Tesla. And this was initially a post about a few minutes ago that was about the different achievements that Elon Musk has done since his comp package in 2018 was implemented. A whole lot of drama about that. There's a vote about that package in 2 days, actually, that might discuss a little bit on this live stream. But in this post, if you scroll down, you know, they go 2018, here's what Elon did. 2019, here's what Elon did. 2020, here's what Elon did. 2021, 2022, 2023. And then once we go all the way at the bottom of 2024, there's this very just super low key thing that Tesla has listed. Deploy 2 Optimus bots performing tasks in the factory autonomously. Deploy 2 Optimus bots performing in tasks in the factory autonomously. And then they said, and it's only June. Now, what's really interesting about that is that it's been long rumored that Tesla was going to deploy these robots at some point to do work. I've sort of been of the train of thought that this wouldn't happen until sometime next year, 2020, 2025, perhaps even 2026. But it seems like Tesla may have been in a situation that it can start having this Optimus bot doing something in the factory as early as now. 2 bots performing tasks in the factory autonomously. Now, very dubious. We don't really know what these tasks are. My assumption is going to be that these are very, very small tasks that probably don't provide a tremendous amount of value. But I think what this proves is that Tesla is already thinking about using these robots to make their manufacturing faster, cheaper, more reliable, so on and so forth. If you look at some of the videos that Tesla has put out in the last couple months about the bot, so this is from February 24th, and all it really is just Mr. Bot, Mr. Optimus Bot, or Mrs. Optimus Bot. I don't want to misgender the robot, okay? I'm sorry, it's 2024, all right? I want to... Actually, you can't get canceled anymore. Let's keep going. But here's the robot walking around. So it's probably safe to assume that if the robot's going to be doing something in the factory, it might include walking, perhaps moving stuff from, say, point A to point B, moving stuff, small things like bins from one end of the factory to another one, maybe not walking too far. Maybe it's in a very controlled environment where it's just a robot walking, so there's no risk of it falling on somebody, or somebody trips it, or it trips somebody, right? Because it's so early stages. But here's a video of it walking around. It seems like they've been able to get this walking thing pretty solid. In that same post, the point above that, they mentioned that they developed three major design revisions for Optimus and 4 revisions of the hand in the last 2 years, with Optimus autonomously navigating daily in our office and labs. So it looks like they got this walking thing figured out pretty well thus far. And then there was also this video from May 5th, so about a month ago, of the bot doing a bunch of other stuff as well. And I know a lot of you have seen this, but just to kind of play it back, there is this bot moving batteries from what one can assume is the production line into bins that they can use to then carry the batteries from the production line of the battery to where they presumably put it in battery packs for the cars, let's say. And you can see it doing it over and over again. And so maybe this is one of the tasks that the robot is doing, is moving these small things from point A to point B, but in a fixed location. So from factory line to bin. And then it showed here, something, hey, I messed up and I'm putting it in, and so on and so forth. And all the training, here's how they were training all the robots with the VR headsets and stuff. So, and then here's a robot walking around, right? And another thing that's of note here that maybe a lot of people haven't been talking about is that it seems like Tesla has a lot of these suckers, man. I'm going to put it on 0.25 speed. Did that work? It did. There's a lot of them. I mean, I think here we can see one. Whoop, let me go back a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe the same on the other side as well. And the next shot would be them just kind of going through that factory floor. So they've been cranking out let's say, beta or alpha versions of this robot that could be useful in a factory setting for at least a month or two. And perhaps they've reached a point, and here it is sort of in a simulated factory line. Honestly, looking back now, could this be sort of that one factory use case of the bot doing it? Now that they say, hey, we have a bot in the factory doing it, could this have been a shot from that? Because this looks like, this doesn't seem like a test line. I feel like they would have, I don't know if they would have invested that much in making sure that it could catch the battery or not, that complex system there. So maybe that was a shot from the factory. That was sort of an Easter egg in this video. But regardless, it's a pretty exciting bit of news, because it's really pointing to the fact that this product is not just, this weird dancing robot from 2020. It's actually something that Tesla's trying to bring to fruition. Now, it's heavily dependent on the company executing at a very high level. It's definitely not something that people should assume it's already working. It's only 2 units, right? But the fact that they are publicly stating that they're doing this, I think it's very much noteworthy. And we'll talk about it in the comments as well on the second half of this live stream. So drop your comments in the comment section below, and we'll do a little bit of Q&A. In addition to that, I think the other thing of note here is that with Elon's comp plan being voted on or revoted on the 2018 comp plan, if you're following the story closely in a couple of days, I think it also makes a lot of sense for Tesla to bring a lot of Elon's achievements to the forefront and to try and create as much excitement and as much, hey, listen, this guy is very crucial to the company. Don't you dare vote no on this thing, so that to make sure that he stays, make sure you vote yes. And so I think Elon and Tesla are very much going to be incentivized to say and do things that will get people excited, fans excited, investors excited, commentators like me on YouTube talking about it, right? So it's in their best interest to get news like that out there. But this one is very interesting because the implications of it are pretty far-reaching. If Tesla is able to get to a point where they are able to implement bots in their factory settings, what that implies is that they're going to have a robot that actually works, a humanoid robot that can actually do jobs. And one of the key things that was preventing these robots from doing anything is that they're not really that useful. They can't really do the things that humans can. But if they have something, a robot in the factory, then that very much implies that. So they have a use case for that. It's probably going to bring down costs, because operating a human or robot over time is going to be significantly cheaper than a human. You don't have to worry about healthcare. You don't have to worry about paying them on a yearly basis. They're going to be a lot more reliable. They can work much longer. You don't have to worry about sick leave, so on and so forth. We actually have a really cool video about humanoid robots coming out on this channel probably tomorrow. That's based on a Rethink X research piece. We're collaborating with them. Make sure you tune in back for that. The timing of that video couldn't have been freaking better based on this news. And so if that works then, and they get all those benefits, then Tesla's profitability in the long term could get better, because now you have more reliable labor that's cheaper, that could help them make things at a cheaper price faster, so on and so forth. And if it works in the factory setting in Tesla, then Tesla can say, hey, it works for us. It could also work for you. GM, Ford, Apple, NVIDIA, I don't know, just come up with different use cases, lawn mowing company, whatever it might be, right? If it can do those tasks, then in theory, if it's a task that requires hands and moving around, that all the robot has to do is just get a software update to be able to manipulate that physical space to do that same thing. And it also sort of, I mean, I could riff on this for so long. It's so crazy. It also points to the fact that their software expertise, again, if this is legit, if this is, if I don't know why it wouldn't be, right? And the fact that they're saying this, deploy 2 Optimus bots performing tasks in the factory autonomously. What it also, I think, says is that Tesla's chops when it comes to taking artificial intelligence, hardware and software, the way they're marrying it up using their approach of using neural nets and vision only to create AI systems, physical systems, that it's working. With FSD V12, their full self-driving platform that they released, that is end-to-end neural nets vision only, that is on the latest version of 12.4, is not requiring people to even nag on the wheel. It's just looking forward and just watching the road. So in theory, the car will drive you around without you doing absolutely anything. All you have to do is just pay attention. If that works and this works, then I think Tesla, their claim of them being an AI company and not just an automotive company, becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. But again, it's highly dependent on execution. It's highly dependent on them proving this out and proving to not just investors, but fans and people that want to buy the products that it's actually useful. But it's very interesting that they mentioned this now, because I bet you this is going to be a big topic of conversation in the shareholder meeting in 2 days. I bet you the bot's going to be a significant part of the discussion. And you can kind of see how they're starting to layer this on. They're starting to bring it up more often. Elon did a 5-hour-long stream, I think, on Sunday playing Diablo 4. Just like his true gamer pog, just out there just playing 5 hours. And he was answering questions. And again, he said things like the bot is next level. But again, this is Elon, as he should, trying to hype up the products of the Tesla company to, get people excited and get people like, hey, let's go. Like Tesla's got something cool cooking. So, okay. I would love to hear what you think. So let's pull up some comments and see what people have to say on this topic, and then we'll go from this. And I know like a lot of this. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm late. Was this where was this confirmed? Yeah, let me show you. So there was a post that Tesla put out there on X. It was about 2:33 p.m. Central, so about an hour ago. I'll put a link for this in the comment section below. And on the last line of that, deploy 2 Optimus bots performing tasks in the factory autonomously, and it's only June, which points to them potentially doing even more of them very, very shortly. Maybe 3 in like a week or a month. Who knows? We'll see. Okay, let's see. Let's see what people have to say. I'm going to be answering a lot of questions around the shareholder meeting in 2 days, as I can see. Farzad, is the shareholder meeting usually a video live stream? Yes. Every single major event that Tesla has, even minor event, they live stream. So it should be available on their YouTube channel if you want to watch it there. And then we're also going to live stream it on this channel as well. It will start at 3 p.m. coverage on our side. I'll be on with Nico, Matt Smith, and Hans to talk about it. And yeah, we'll talk about beginning to end what happened, and we'll also show the live stream as well for the thing. Here we go. So Benjamin from X, Farzad, please be more realistic. Optimus right now is very primitive. It will take a minimum of 5 years before it can be useful. I can understand that premise because the robot form factor and a technology like this just sounds so insanely crazy. But I also think there is something to be said about certain tasks in, let's say, a factory or a warehouse setting. The only thing you really have to do for some of those tasks, they're very small and they're not going to be super impactful, are picking things up from point A to point B. It's literally pick thing up, move to the place, put thing down. And there's a lot of tasks like that that are out there. And so that is useful. People are literally hired. Like if you think about a warehouse setting or a factory setting, there are jobs out there whose people, their responsibility is to literally pick things up from point A to point B and moving them. Now, the usefulness of that is not nearly as useful as, let's say, I don't know, going fishing on, go for blue crab. What was that Deadliest Catch show, right? Optimus Bot can't freaking do that, and they won't be able to do that for a really long time. Probably won't even be able to full close reliably for years, let's say. But I don't think it's correct, in my opinion, to say that there aren't use cases where a primitive robot can't be useful. I think there very much can be. And I think what's very interesting about Tesla is that they're in an industry where they can prove this out. Because again, supply chain and factory, when you marry those things up, there are a lot of manual jobs in those industries that are extremely useful, but they're not really that complex, and they're still very important jobs. And people that have those jobs should be proud of those jobs, but they're not as complex as other jobs, right? So I think it's nuanced. I think it's very nuanced. I think there is like a spectrum of usefulness. But to say that it can't be useful within 5 years, I think that's underselling the simplicity of some tasks, and it's underselling Tesla's ability to create really cool things that work, right? Same thing could have been said about electric vehicles, right? 10, 20 years ago. That they wouldn't be useful or profitable. They wouldn't really go far on a charge, so on and so forth. But I do agree that if we're talking about, can it do any job within a year? No, of course not. Of course not. But there will be a ramp up for those things. And it will start, I think, quicker than people expect. Okay, let's do the next one. What is so from Jeff from X, when do you think the earliest XAI Grok will be integrated into our Teslas? Yeah, Elon, again, on that Diablo 4 5-hour-long live stream mentioned that they're working on getting Grok, which is like the ChatGPT version of X, ChatGPT version of X, onto our Teslas or onto Tesla vehicles so that, you can say, hey, do this, and then the car will just do it. I'm going to guess it's probably a few years out. Probably maybe at the earliest end of next year, maybe 2026. It's hard to tell, but the first thing that we have, that the company has to do, Grok, is that they have to figure out how to make Grok as useful as at least ChatGPT, and it's not there yet. It's actually quite a ways away for a lot of stuff. So that's the first thing they have to do. They have to make sure it's as useful as at least ChatGPT. Then they have to figure out how to integrate it with what the car does. Maybe commands for the car can be driven by Grok, and that's going to take work. But if I were to guess, in a couple of years, could be sooner, could be later, who knows? But we'll see. That's a useful job. We see it could do. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know what's in the relation to. But yeah, there will be useful jobs out there. Okay, let's do another question. Do you reckon from X, Haynes from X, do you reckon there will be another huge surprise before the shareholder meeting? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, this was kind of a surprise. Some people theorized this was the case. Some people thought that Tesla was very much using Optimus robots in their factories. But now that we have confirmation of it, I think it says that they're very confident about the program. But again, the key thing here is seeing proof of the execution. And I don't think people will really take them that seriously until it shows up on the P&L, on the profit and loss sheet for, let's say, Tesla. Because they can very much say, we have 10 Optimus bots working in the factory and doing tasks. But it can't be like this thing where a lot of other companies do, where they say, we have groundbreaking AI doing this, or we have groundbreaking thing doing that, and it's a beautiful PowerPoint sheet, and it's like, look at all these numbers, look at how incredible this is. Or like concept cars, right? Like that's another perfect example. Look at how incredible this car looks. You will be able to buy it, and then when it comes out, it's like some turd, right? So it's very important for Tesla to execute against that so that people can actually believe them and be taken aback by what they're doing. But I'm of the opinion that Tesla has actually a very good track record of execution. And so we should see that. Okay. I knew we were going to talk about shareholder meeting. From Yo on YouTube. Can we get a prediction what you think the result of the vote will be? This is, I'm assuming, Tesla or Elon's comp plan on a couple of days. I am of the opinion, I do have a strong opinion about this. I do believe that people that are voting no on this plan are, I hate to say it, it's a bad faith vote, to be completely honest, and mainly because it's a 2018 plan that was already fulfilled. So it's basically like confirming what was already done. And for people to vote no on that seems weird, very, very weird to me. And I think most people will vote yes because most people, I think, are reasonable. I think a lot of the no votes are politically motivated, in my opinion. So because of that, I believe, and not to mention that if people vote no, it very well could mean that Elon leaves, because why would anybody want to work for a company where the investor base doesn't believe in what they already did? Right? Why would somebody invest in a stock, do that, open themselves up to that risk, and then be happy with that decision? I don't know. I can't get my head wrapped around that. So I could be wrong, but I feel that it's going to very comfortably pass as a yes. And we'll be covering that on Thursday, in 2 days. Let's do maybe a couple more. How's the baby? Oh, thank you, Jose. Yeah, baby's doing great. He'll be 2 weeks tomorrow. We finally got some sleep last night, y'all. Still sleep deprived. There's still a lot to catch up on. This is a caffeine-fueled live stream, but he's doing great. Oh my God, he's the best. Oh, he's the best. I love him so much. I've never loved anything or anyone this much. My wife is a very close second. Sorry, babe. But yeah, incredible. Highly recommended for people that are thinking about becoming parents. There will be no greater joy in your life, and you will also be the most frustrated you'll ever be in your life. And you will also feel like a zombie a lot of times, but it's worth it. It's totally worth it. Oh, I'm getting like emotional talking about it. My God, I love that kid so much. I really do. And shout out to my wife, freaking superhero. Superhero. Women don't get enough credit when it comes to being mothers. Okay. From Jeff, have you heard anything about the expansion of Tesla insurance into more states? Haven't really heard anything from that. I believe they hired somebody new to take that on. I think he used to work for Geico. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below. But yeah, they brought somebody on to try and expand that. And I believe, now what's interesting about the insurance question is I do think there's more to this that's going to play out during the Robotaxi event on August 8th. Because if you do have a self-driving car, it would make sense for the manufacturer or the provider of those self-driving cars to take on the insurance, obviously, because if you're not driving, if there's nobody driving, like why would the passenger be liable? And I think it would be very beneficial for Tesla to provide their own insurance, because then they can really control the costs. If you give a third-party company, give them the ability to, or let them be the insurer, then you're not going to have nearly as much. They're not going to have nearly as much data at their disposal to make good decisions on what the rate should be. Tesla has all the data they need to understand what the rate should be. Like they know how many miles they go without accidents or crashes or injuries, right? They know what kind of situations cause those accidents. They know what kind of injuries and what kind of airbags get deployed. I mean, they have so much data as it pertains to the likelihood of accident, injury, or God forbid death, that they can very, very much hone in. They can do that actuarial analysis, basically an analysis for the insurance, and to figure out what the costs are going to be. They have all the data necessary to be as precise as possible, which is going to dramatically lower their costs, because the last thing an insurance company wants to do is to undercharge and have to cover the costs for people getting into accidents and then they're underwater. So that's why insurance is expensive as it is, because it's kind of hard to figure out what the likelihood of risk is, risk is when it comes to accidents and stuff. But the more data you have that's super precise, if you have the right data, it becomes a lot easier. And that's where Tesla has a huge advantage. And so keeping the insurance stuff in-house and then becoming the primary provider is a very smart idea. And I highly, highly support them doing that. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe we'll do one or two more. Let's see. From Dax, the media has been talking up the facts that all modern cars are supplying insurance companies info to create increase your rates, but I guess none use it to drop them. I can't remember the last time anything went down insurance wise for me personally. It's like it's always like it's a little bit higher every time. It's like, when is the last time they decrease rent? If you're like a renter, for example. Can't remember the last time, when I used to freaking rent an apartment, never went down. Insurance seems to be the same thing. So yeah, we'll see. Okay. Let's do a couple of the super chats that came through. Thank you very much, Rodney, for the $5 New Zealand. Here's $1 or $2 towards the cost. Thank you very much. That's going to go into the Clive Fund for his diapers. Diapers are expensive. I don't know if you guys knew this. Fuck. They're expensive, man. From Anthony, thank you so much. $5 super chat. Elon just dropped a lawsuit against OpenAI. Also, congratulations on being a father now. Oh, really? Did he really? Hang on a second. Let's confirm this. Oh, he totally did. Whoa. Halfway through. Okay. I guess we're going to have to do a little bit longer live stream. Breaking news. Okay. Should we cover this real quick? Let's do it. Wow. This is the first time that's ever happened. Should I update the description for the live stream as well? I probably should. Elon drops Optimus bot in factories. Let me update real quick. Elon drops OpenAI lawsuit. Wow. Wow, we've been blessed with the content gods today. Let's go ahead and read this from CNBC. I feel like I'm Meet Kevin. Shout out Kevin. The guy has like 6 kids or something, and he has all these. It's like insane. I don't even know how he does it. Shout out to Kev. All right. Elon Musk drops suit against OpenAI and Sam Altman, which is an interesting thing because of how much beef he was creating on X for the last 24 hours when it came to OpenAI and Apple. Let's see what CNBC has to say. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Elon Musk on Tuesday withdrew his lawsuit from Hayden Field, author. Elon Musk on Tuesday withdrew his lawsuit against OpenAI and 2 of the company's co-founders, Sam Altman and Greg Brockman, in California State Court. A hearing was scheduled for Wednesday in San Francisco, which is tomorrow, in which the judge was going to consider whether the case should be dismissed as requested by the defendants, including Altman and Brockman, the current CEO and president of OpenAI, respectively. Experts told CNBC in March that the case was built on a questionable legal foundation because the contract at the heart of the suit was not a formal written agreement that was signed by all parties involved. Let's see if there's anything else in here. I don't know if there's any other information or any other information that's in here that's relevant. Representatives for Musk and Altman did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Interesting. Okay, so if you just joined us for the bot stuff, which we talked about at the first half of this video, something just broke. News just broke that Elon Musk has dropped the suit against OpenAI and Sam Altman. Let's see if Elon said anything about this on X. Let's pull him up. And I'm searching right now. Let's see what Elon has to say. Has he said anything? Replies. And talking about Hunter Biden. No, nothing. Posts, nothing. Okay. So very interesting. Very interesting news that just broke there. Yeah, I think, let me know in the comments what you think about Elon dropping the suit. You know, I what's interesting about this whole Elon Musk OpenAI saga is that it's very obvious that Elon has a lot of bad blood against OpenAI because of how, you know, obviously he has taken a big issue with how Sam is running the company, with some of the latest developments about woke GPT. Just in the last 24 hours, Elon was quite upset about the integration of ChatGPT with Apple iPhones. They made an announcement yesterday about how they're going to steal your data, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of beef there. It's obvious that there's a lot of beef. OpenAI also has a track record of being kind of shady, in my opinion. Sam Altman gets fired, gets rehired. The board gets fired. Everybody in the safety board gets fired. There's all these people leaving the company talking about concerns about the way Sam is running the company, potentially. You have this Scarlett Johansson statement about them stealing the voice. You had this lawsuit that is now dropped. Yeah, so there's a lot of different variables here, but there's a lot of history there. And so him dropping the lawsuit maybe could very well be tied to him thinking that there's not enough legal standing for him to win anything, obviously. But I do wonder how much of the OpenAI stuff is just very deeply. There's just a lot of emotions there, you know, because, you know, he was one of the original founders, who was the biggest contributor of funds to the company. Obviously, he's not there anymore. I think he feels like he has created a monster. And it's obvious that he doesn't trust Sam in a lot of respects in running that company, that is not aligned with the original vision, potentially, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of beef. There's a lot of beef. Starting XAI and being a direct competitor to OpenAI. So I don't know. we live in interesting times when it comes to that stuff, because it's obvious that AI is going towards a certain direction where you're going to have these kings. You're going to have these like kings that you're going to have to choose which AI you want, right? You're going to have your Google Gemini. That's one king. You're going to have your ChatGPT king. You're going to have your Anthropic Opus one. That's another king. You have XAI. That's another, XAI, Grok. That's another king. ChatGPT is another king. I don't know if I mentioned them already or not. Sleep deprived. So we'll see. And the fact, and this is another thing that's really, really worth mentioning. Sam making deals with both Microsoft and Apple is wild. Put everything else aside, the way Sam Altman is able to create relationships with businesses is very, very impressive. And I do think there is a level of, maybe there is like a competitive thing with Elon and Sam where he is really trying very, very hard to be ahead of the game versus Sam, and Sam keeps making these deals with companies. But I think it's also very important to note that as it pertains to ChatGPT, the key thing that they're going to have to ensure that they're doing in the long term is that they're differentiating themselves versus other products like it, to ensure that they don't get overrun by a superior product. And this is kind of already starting to happen with Anthropic and some of the abilities that their engine has as far as generating responses based on queries. They're very reliable. They perform really, really well. Although ChatGPT 4.0 and what they showed with like the voice and everything is super, super impressive. So there's very much a lot of competition that's driving people. But I do wonder if it's going to be difficult for OpenAI to stay relevant unless they make moves like embedding themselves in Microsoft, embedding themselves in Apple, and essentially relying on companies that are really, really big that perhaps don't want to take on the innovation and the complexities of making their own AI, let's say this chatbot or whatever solution that they have, that they are the ones that become the provider for those things. So they become a third-party AI provider to these large companies. I still can't believe that Apple didn't have their own version like years ago with the amount of cash and supposedly talent and expertise they have. It's mind-blowing that they have to rely on something like ChatGPT. Not fully, but with their, somebody asked in the chat here with Matt, what are your thoughts on Apple licensing ChatGPT? Did you catch Elon's comments on a phone not being out of the question? I mean, he said this multiple times about the phone, and I know he's reluctant to make one. I still feel like he's reluctant to make one. I don't think they're going to make one. I could be wrong. But I think ChatGPT, Apple licensing ChatGPT is obviously a brilliant move for ChatGPT. It's a weird move by Apple because of how much expertise they have. I would think that they would very much, given how much potential there is with AIs and how powerful it could be in the long term, I'm surprised it would even allow people to sort of make AI that's not theirs their default, like ChatGPT. It's surprising to me, but obviously this is great for OpenAI because they get more. They are finding ways for more and more people to use their products, not just by going to chatgpt.com or openai.com, but it comes up on an Apple device. It comes up potentially on a Samsung device, right? It comes up on a freaking Microsoft phone if they come out with one. So I don't know. So we'll see. Far's Dad official merch. How about Far Dad? Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll make some. Thank you for that. Yeah. So in case you just joined us, we just saw this breaking news. Grammar. Elon Musk. I don't even know. It's still right. Elon Musk drops suit against OpenAI and Sam Altman. So last 24 hours, he was throwing a fit about OpenAI and Apple. Then he drops the suit. Yeah. So a lot of drama going on there. Sign of the times, a lot of competition. The consumer wins, maybe? We'll see. Okay, we'll end it there. Thank you so much for joining me. First half of the live stream will be Optimus Bot. Second half is mostly this breaking news with Elon Musk dropping the suit. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed the content, links to support the channel in the description. You can also like and subscribe. That goes a long way. And then we'll be back tomorrow and then again on Thursday to cover the annual shareholder meeting for Tesla, which is going to be a banger. Okay? So thank you so much. I'm going to try to get a nap in now.